welcome back. It is another fun-filled week of cooking with Amanda. And I am here today in my gigantic sweater. My hair is messy. I'm wearing minimal makeup, and it's because it's freezing outside and I just want to curl under a blanket and never leave. This weather I usually enjoy, and I am kind of enjoying it, but we also had like 37-degree weather the other day, so my body is confused and can't regulate this temperature. So today, all I want to do is order Chinese food, but we can't make a video out of me eating from Skip the Dishes. Maybe we could. So I am going to take it upon myself to make a awesome, easy, hiddenly nutritious stir fry. There's no meat in this one, but you can always add meat if you want that, but it is a vegetarian dish today, and I am so excited because I love stir fry. Very easy ingredients, let's get to it.
For this recipe, you will need some frozen vegetables, and I just found this Asian style blend that was perfect. A package of coleslaw mix. Ramen noodles. I just used Mr. Noodles without the packet seasoning. Onions. Brown sugar. Soy sauce. Oil. I'm using sesame oil for this one. And garlic and ginger.
Okay, so the first step is always getting your onions into the pan. They take the longest to cook, as well as the coleslaw mix. So you really want to give that time to really cook down and get soft before you add other things into it. So I'm just going to cut my onions into, I'd say about a medium thickness of strips. I'll show you up close once I have them cut.
So I'm taking my knife and cutting it from top to bottom. I'm not cutting the onion down the middle, if that makes sense. And then from here, I'm just showing you how to cut the onion. So I'm going from the top to the bottom. And now that I have it in half, I'm going long ways. So I'm not gonna have small little chunks. I'm gonna have nice long strips. So as you can see, I need to watch my fingers more, and after doing these videos, I really realized how poorly I am cutting things. It's very dangerous. So as you can see, I have nice little strips, and that's the thickness I want. You don't want them too thick because they're not going to cook, and you don't want them too thin because they're going to burn.
So the onions are now chopped, and I'm going to add them to a pan over low medium. You want these to cook down nice and slow so they don't burn. I'm going to be cooking in sesame oil, but this is just personal preference because sesame oil has a very Asian taste to it. It's used a lot in Asian cooking, so I prefer it, but you can really use any oil you like. If it's vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you have in the house. What I love about stir fry is that it's incredibly versatile. You can use fresh vegetables. I'm using frozen today because I wanted something quick. You can use coleslaw mix, or you can substitute it or not use it at all. If you don't have these specific noodles and you have rice, you can use rice. It's really awesome because you can make this recipe your own, or you can follow mine to a T. I'm going to be using about a tablespoon of oil in the pan on my medium-low, while these cook down for, I would say, about 5 to 8 minutes. When you're cooking a stir fry, you want to think about all the ingredients you're putting in and put them in the pan so that they all finish cooking at the same time. So, onions take a long time to cook, and that's why I'm putting them in the pan first versus something that's already cooked. Like my noodles will be cooked when I put them in the pan, so they're going to be the last thing I put. Once everything is cooked, I'm adding them and tossing them. I'm not cooking with them in the pan the whole time because then they would obviously get mushy. But yeah, so if you're using your own ingredients, just think about how much time that ingredient needs to cook and consider it when you're adding all of your things into it. So make sure you're staggering them so they finish at the same time.
So it's been about 5 minutes and my onions are translucent with some color, and I'm already adding in the coleslaw mix because it does take a little bit of time to cook. So I'm just using about half of the package for mine. It's not an exact science with this. It's just personal preference. So I'm gonna add that in, give it a stir, give it a minute to cook a little bit, and then I'm adding the frozen vegetables as well. So I've just added in my vegetables. I'm gonna give it a quick toss, and then I am also going to add about a quarter to a half a cup of water right into the pan. And then I'm putting the lid on top. And why you do this is because it's going to help cook down the vegetables without everything burning. So it's sort of like it's steaming the vegetables without them just like frying and drying out on the pan. So this is a great trick to do to just help get everything soft. So while that's cooking down, I'm going to make my sauce. And the first step is to chop up your garlic nice and fine. I will have all of the measurements listed in the ingredients list for you in my other post, but just for the sake of sparing time, I'm just going to show you the process. So dice your garlic and add it to your bowl. And then you're going to add the soy sauce. And spill it, obviously. Oh gosh. And I'm adding my brown sugar. A little bit of ginger. You don't need too much of that, especially if it's just the powder. This recipe calls for fresh ginger, but I only had powdered ginger, so I find that spice to be a lot more flavorful, so I use a lot less. Mix it, set it aside. Make sure you're stirring your vegetables and adding a little bit of water. You don't want the pan to dry out before everything cooks. And at this point, while everything's cooking, I'm adding a tiny bit of sauce in it. And I just want to get the vegetables to absorb it a little bit so they're not so watery. I also have a pot of plain water boiling or coming to a boil because my ramen noodles are going to be cooked soon. As you can tell, my vegetables have shrunk down, which means they are getting close to being ready. They're probably sauteing for about 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. I turned the vegetables off, added in the ramen noodles, and I'm just cooking them until they're tender, mixing them up so they break apart nicely, and then I'm going to strain them. So I didn't notice my camera was off, so I missed a little bit of it, but I just strained my noodles and then added them to my pot and put the sauce on top, and I'm just mixing it, spilling it everywhere as usual. But my burner is off. I'm just mixing and mixing and mixing because those noodles, I have a difficult time trying to get the vegetables to incorporate into the noodles. So after you toss it, it is done and it is delicious.
Okay, so here it is. I'm so excited to eat it because it smells amazing. This is what I needed. It's salty. And there's so many vegetables in here, but it doesn't feel like you're eating vegetables because it's hidden in noodles and deliciousness. This is such a great stir fry. It was very easy. I cheated by using frozen vegetables, but honestly, it's so much cheaper sometimes to just buy a pack. I got those on sale for $2. I'm getting two meals out of it because I only use half of the bag. The coleslaw mix is great because it's cabbage that gets hidden. And cabbage is so good for you, and I have a hard time eating it, but I can't even taste it in this. So added nutrients. I seriously recommend you try this one and let me know how it goes. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great day. I hope you stay warm and cozy, and I hope you're well. See you guys soon. Bye.